What's going on, Jerome's taking a look at the Vikings general manager candidates as well as the head coaching candidates who have had some professional overlap during their careers. Now, it can be tough to track because sometimes these executives, their backstory, besides their bio sheet on the current team that they're on, a little bit dicey, but we'll get into, they could, if the Vikings hire this general manager, this is who they could bring XYZ, because professional connections, it does make a lot of sense. But also it's a double-edged sword, because think about your job. Like, just because you've worked with someone doesn't mean that you like them or that you would bring them to a new project. I mean, so maybe the fact that they've worked or their paths have crossed and maybe they hate their guts. Who really knows? But also, take all these connections with just a little grain of salt, because some of them were, hey, a low-level area scout, and one of the coaches could have been a position coach. They may have not even had any crossover, because area scouts are only in the building a couple times a year as they prepare for the draft. So, yeah, just because they had the same name on their letterhead doesn't mean they necessarily worked hand in glove. So we're going to dive on in, starting at the top. Reisch, Catherine the Great, VP of Football Operations for the Eagles since 2019. Now Jonathan Gannon, of course, current Eagles DC, obvious crossover, but also Doug Peterson, 2019, 2020. And as we said, with Doug and Reisch and Brandon Brown, just because they were in the building with the Eagles when they took Jefferson over, they took Rieger over Jalen. Start over. When they took Jalen Rieger over Justin Jefferson, nailed it. That was like a word salad there for a second. It doesn't mean that they were fully on, Jalen Rieger is going to be the guy, even though I like Jalen Rieger in the draft. I did. What can I do? Hey, me. Hey, I'll take that L. We still end up with Justin Jefferson. It was Howie Roseman who ultimately made that call. And with Reisch and Brown's interviews, I can guarantee you, it's like, well, I want Jefferson. But Howie's like, no. It's an easy one to go under. So there you go. Also, Brandon Brown has crossover with Gannon and Peterson. Even more with Doug Peterson. Brandon Brown was in the Eagles building during their Super Bowl year in 2017, allegedly. So, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, VP of Football Operations. Oh, his interview was called the Mensa meeting. That one's too easy. But before Adofo-Mensah came to the Browns, he was with the Niners since 2013 in the scouting department. So D'Amico Ryans, of course, rising up there with the Niners, and linebacker coach, defense coordinator, 2017, 2019, 3 years of overlap. Then you got Glenn Cook of the Browns, where I just mainly threw these two names in there just to be funny. Now, the asterisk by the names, it means that the Vikings haven't formally reached out yet, but they could. Chris Taybor has been a great special teams coordinator around the league for a long time, currently with the Bears. But yeah, Chris Taybor had 2 years of overlap with Glenn Cook with the Browns. Also, Mike Preefer, the only man who has been head coach of the Vikings since 2014, Mike Preefer. Yeah, 3 years of overlap with Stefanski's staff. Also 1 year under Freddie Kitchens. He survived the regime change there, so that's whatever. Ryan Poles. So this is where we get interesting. Let's go. I love me some Ryan Poles. Offensive line background, go ahead. But executive director of player personnel with the Chiefs. Come on up. 3 years of overlap with Doug, 2013 to 2015. Eric Bieniemy, 2013 to present. So they know those guys. And I think if Ryan Poles gets a job, either Peterson or Bieniemy just walking on in if they get the job. Who knows? John Spytek, Spider 2Y Banana. Sorry, Spytek 2Y Banana. Also, Spytek should be the name of Q from 007. But yeah, Buccaneers VP of Players Personnel. Also, conspiracy theory, man. He was with the Broncos as a scout when the Kubiaks were in charge there. So Clint Kubiak, one time. No, can't do it. But with the Buccaneers, of course, Todd Bowles, who the Vikings are going to interview on Friday, 2019 to present, as well as Byron Leftwich, who the Vikings haven't made formal overtures to. But maybe it's because they know that he's probably going to Jacksonville. Could be a thing. Elliot Wolf, Patriots consultant. Josh McDaniels, 2020 to present. Even though the Vikings have not formally requested McDaniels, Joshy has some free time. Even though I don't know, like, you can be a head coach and be arrogant if you're good, but I feel like McDaniels is just arrogant without being good, as evidenced by his Broncos tenure. But he's like, I'm not interviewing until we're out of the playoffs. Well, you're out of the playoffs, bro. Go ahead. Then Monty Ossenfort. This is the most intriguing connection to me. So Kevin O'Connell, the pride of San Diego State, was a fourth-round pick by the Patriots in 2008. So Monty Ossenfort, who was in the scouting department at the time, actually scouting Kevin O'Connell. And he didn't last long as an NFL quarterback. He bounced around. He was a bit of a journeyman, but that's So if Austin Ford, the pride of Laverne, Minnesota, gets a job, reach out to Kevin O'Connell. Yeah, the Rams offense look pretty damn good. Yeah, Rams OC, Kevin OC coming on in. Youth movement. O'Connell's like, what, 36? Monty Ossenfort's like, what, 43? Let's go. Also, Patrick Graham, the Giants DC, was with the Patriots for a hot second for 6-7 years. Nailed it with Monty Ossenfort, also involved in the Patriots organization. So that is it. That's the conspiracy theory, just like everything's connected, man. Take a look at the Vikings GM, head coaching candidate, connections, and overlap. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work, put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.